Welcome back to another video about D&D, which has become one of my favourite things to talk about at the moment, so yeah. But welcome back. So I have now spoken about my world in general and how I created my world. I have spoken about how to create NPCs, and now I would kind of like to talk about session 0. I always feel like beginning a story and ending a story are the hardest points. That meet in the middle, it's simple, but beginning the story I find quite difficult to create a scenario that actually makes the players want to continue playing. Now of course, if you're doing like Curse of Strahd, Gingerbexxi Spire Peak, you're doing them, you've got the book there, you've got it, and it tells you where to start and it tells you where to end. And I would actually also say that if you were looking to get into DMing and you weren't really sure where to start, these are actually fantastic for starting a world setting, because you could have this as like, you know, the Gingerbexxi Spire Peak, there's a few areas that you go to, but it's all set in this one like neat little bubble, and if you take that and just that is your starting few sessions, and then you can create it from there on out. It is absolutely fantastic to do that. But what I'm talking about more now is if you're doing your own campaign with your own story, or you're just not working out of these campaigns that are already pre-written, how to start these sessions. A lot of people shit on the you happen to meet in a tavern, and I would actually say that it's actually a really good way to start a campaign. I feel. I mean, people seem to roll their eyes at, we're in a tavern, of course we are, but it is a very, very good place to start off. I find that, well, number one, usually when people end up in a tavern, it is because they're there to find information about a certain thing. They are there to socialise with other patrons, they're there to celebrate or drown their sorrows or something. Everyone's in a tavern for a reason, and it is always a really good place to start. But there is other ways to start a campaign. I have also come together from your meeting by the local market board that shows job postings, etc, etc. I've come together with a party where we've met in the guild, and the guild has put together this party because they need to go to a certain place. But what if you don't want to start in a tavern? What if you don't want your characters to have that beginning to their story? There is plenty of other ways to do it. You have to think about, firstly, what is the story that you want to tell? Now, your session might be maybe 4 sessions long. Your session might be a campaign that goes on for a couple months. Your story might be this campaign that goes on for a few years plus. But in every campaign, there's always the starting mission. There's the mission that kind of gets them into where they're going. Now, for my world, I went with the typical kind of meeting because of a job. My characters were chosen by their individual towns to become champions, and for the champions to actually proceed and do their job, they needed to meet in this temple where they were given kind of a trial to prove to the elders that what they did to be nominated as a champion was not just a fluke. And their trial was to find out about these murdered people in town. Now, my main villain for this was, well, they were the high priest, but they were the high priest disguised as this guy. I had this image in my head when they find out that this bone devil was basically wearing this person as a skin suit. And the bone devil bursts out from being contained within the skin of the high priest. And you see the wings coming out and the bones coming out and the tail coming over from the back as well. And that's like the image that I had in my head. And I was like, okay, so how do we get from these characters in the hometowns to they're here together fighting this bone devil, sorry. I always get the devils and the demons mixed up. So how do we get there? Well, work back. Why is this devil wearing this person as a skin suit? And from there, I was like, okay, so devils are obviously very, very, very bad things. And what would a bone devil want? Bones. So basically, this bone devil was itself, and also with the help of another, what was it? I think it was an imp. I honestly cannot remember what it was. It was a very long time ago, okay? I'm sure it was an imp. Together with this other thing was killing certain people who had magic that was coursing through them, because that made the bones better. And yeah, working back from there, well, why did they come together? Oh, well, I had this whole idea about them being champions and things, and I was like, well, that's how they could come together. It could be like a trial. Like, this town is having something, like this odd thing going on because of this bone devil, so why not have them all come together? So that was how I came up with my first story setting, was that I wanted them to fight a bone devil. That was literally it, because the bone devil looked cool. I would say if you're going into being a DM, you probably have some of these images in your mind of how you want a session to turn out, of the bad guys that you want your characters to fight, the main bad guys. So yeah, finding the type of bad guy that you want them to fight and finding a reason of why they're there. I find that to be one of the easiest ways, for myself anyway. There's also some very, very handy things online to show you how to start some sessions. If you literally just type into Google session 0 D&D ideas or something like that, you will find several different Reddit posts or blogs. There's so many things of people just talking about how they started their session zeros. But my favourite part is, I really like this monster, so I'm going to work out how I'm going to get them to fight this monster. If you don't have the monster manual, now these books can be quite costly. I got mine as part of a set. I got the monster manual, the DM handbook, and the player guide, and the DM screen for this one too. And it was only about 50 quid when I got them because they were on offer. But normally altogether they're about 90 quid. I think they're a little bit cheaper now because we now have the new updated version, so these ones are a little bit less pricey. But honestly, you can get all of this online as well. If you were just to Google, for example, water D&D monsters, you will find a wiki page that has all the D&D monsters that can be found in the water, or in kind of water settings, like storm giants as well, because they are counted as kind of water based creatures. So you can find all of this online. If you have like this thought in your mind, you're like, oh, do you know what, I really wanted to be a pirate setting that's got the mermen and stuff like that, you can literally type into Google pirate themed D&D monsters and it'll come up with all of them on the wiki page. I look through the book because I have it in front of me here, so I look through the whole thing, and then I'm like, okay, so I don't know what I want to do, let's just open a page. The fuck is that? I mean, you've got the Rakshasa there, sorry, which is a fantastic storyline. Oh, was that campaign 1 of Critical Role? They had the Rakshasa, really, really, really cool. But I've got here a Quaggoth. What is a Quaggoth? Ooh, Chasms of the Underdark. So, why would a Quaggoth be anywhere in a normal setting? Now, these creatures look like they actually, do you know what they look like? They look like werewolf type things. That's what they kind of look like. I don't know why my pages are sticky, but they're poison. Ooh. So, if I was to look at this page here and think, oh, Quaggoth, they are creatures of the Underdark and they have some kind of poison. I would probably try and maybe have a look at the other kind of Underdark type creatures as well. What have we got? Ah, Mind Flayers. So yeah, I think what I would probably do if I was to open the book and think, I want them to fight a Quaggoth at some point. Well, why? Why are they not in the Underdark? Why are they up here? Why are they roaming? Why are you going to encounter them? And I would try and plan my my first session about that if I didn't know what to do. Maybe they're in a cave for some reason. Let's say they are doing a transport duty from the city that's up there. Probably in my case would be probably Fushila, because there's the Fushila mines. So started in Fushila, you've got your, say, 4 characters who are to transport goods from the town down into the mines, and your session starts with you enter the mines. I generally pick on a character. I will say to a character, you're sitting here. And I actually did this with my sister because I was very comfortable with my sister. So when we started our session, I picked on her and said, you are sitting in this building here. You look to the side of you and you see this character. And I took it from there and I used her perspective to explain like the building that she was in, the people that were surrounding her. I used that one character to begin the story. So I would probably do the same with in this example. Caleb, hearing the surroundings go from the forest of Fushila that you've grown up in your whole life. You enter the cave, your breathing starts to echo. You look around. You have a gnome. The shortest gnome that you've actually met in your life still smells a lot like the forest. His name's Chip, and Chip has been hired alongside you to go into these mines. You look up the front and you see the pitch black tabaxi that strolled into the town looking confident as ever. You hear the lute strings twang just slightly with every single bump in the road, and it echoes with the caves. If you were going to do something else, for example, you wanted to lure them into the Underdark, we've got a Quaggoth here, but the main boss is probably going to be a Mind Flayer. I would probably have the Quaggoth be the one that lures them down. Maybe there's 3 or 4 of them that attack the wagon that the party are on to deliver these goods. Perhaps they have an NPC with them. Maybe the goods that they're delivering has great value that they were given to sell to some kind of buyer somewhere else. Something that is going to make them go, oh, this Quagoth stole this thing that I really, really need. And then that takes them on their pursuit into the mines and down into the Underdark, where they encounter the mind flayers and more Quagoths probably. Anyway, that's some fun ways to start some sessions. I do enjoy the let's look in the book. Oh, I just opened an ancient red dragon. How about we don't do that one? But no, I love just picking a random like bad guy and going, why would the party be fighting this person? But also, why would this bad guy want to fight the party? And work back from there. Figure out a reason why they would be there and find a starting point for it. It could literally just be that they're in this town, they're in the tavern, and something attacks the town. I'm pretty sure that's how the Dragon of Icespire Peak started. I honestly cannot remember, but I'm pretty sure that's how it started. You can add so much flavour to this random storyline, this random wagon going down into the mines to deliver some gems to someone who can appraise it for you, because they're not in town, because they're in the mines. So you have to go down in the mines with this cart full of gems, where you encounter this Quagoth that has wandered a little bit too far through a crack in the wall that you've never seen before. Honestly, there's a million and one ways to start a D&D session, but for me, my favourite way is to find a monster and work my way back. See that image in my head of the Bone Devil exploding out of this person's skin, and seeing that horrific image motivate the characters. That one led to them being, well, number one, they passed their trial, and number two, it got them the recognition that they needed to get the next part of the quest, which was they had to go into another fucking war and extract someone. But that is my favourite way to start a session 0. And that's how I did all my planning. If you're a new DM and you really don't know where to start with a certain subject, let me know. I might not be the most knowledgeable of DMs. I know that there's DMs out there who have been DMing for 30, 40 years, and I've not been DMing for that long. But I am quite happy to share this is how I did it, and it worked for me, and hopefully it might work for someone else. So if there's anything that you are not sure about, or you're struggling to come up with an idea for something, let me know, because I'm quite happy to talk about this forevermore. I'm going to leave the session 0 chat here, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks talking about some one-shots. But if you like this video, remember to hit the like button below and subscribe for more, because I post every Friday. I also stream every Wednesday and Saturday. My Wednesday streams are my art streams, and my Saturday streams are my game streams. Now, my schedule's been a wee bit funky because of Christmas, and, well, I uploaded Power Cut the other day there, which was rubbish, but generally, every Wednesday and Saturday I stream. So whether I see you on YouTube or I see you on Twitch, I look forward to seeing you there, and I'll see you next time. Bye!